السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. نشرة اخبار منتصف الليل من التلفزيون الأردني والعناوين. جلالة الملك يعود إلى أرض الوطن بعد زيارة عمل إلى نيويورك ضمن أعمال الدورة 71 للجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة. قرار دولي جديد بشأن منع انتشار الأسلحة النووية بغية تعزيز السلام والأمن الدوليين. نبدأ نشرتنا بالشأن المحلي، حيث عاد جلالة الملك عبد الله الثاني إلى أرض الوطن بعد أن اختتم زيارة عمل إلى نيويورك، حيث ترأس جلالته الوفد الأردني المشارك في أعمال الدورة 71 للجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة. المزيد من التفاصيل في التقرير التالي.
أمام الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة في دورتها 71 تصدر جدول أعمال الزيارة الملكية إلى مدينة نيويورك، حيث ترأس جلالته الوفد الأردني المشارك في أعمال هذه الدورة. فمن على المنصة الأممية أكد جلالته في كلمة الأردن أمام قادة العالم ورؤساء الوفود المشاركة أن الأفكار المغلوطة عن الإسلام والمسلمين تصب في خدمة أجندة الإرهابيين الساعية لإشعال فتيل حرب عالمية، وذلك من خلال تعميق وتغذية الانقسام والاستقطاب في المجتمعات بين الشرق والغرب، فتقوم كل مجموعة بوصم الأخرى وتنغمس أكثر فأكثر في سوء الظن بالآخر ورفضه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mr. President, thank you. Allow me also to express today my highest regard for Secretary General Ban Ki-moon for his dedication and tireless efforts to advance the cause of peace and global harmony. I have deeply appreciated our work together in these last 10 years. Mr. Secretary General, Your Excellencies, as I stand here today, elections to Jordan's National Parliament are coming to a conclusion. It is one more step on our country's positive evolutionary path, a path to which we have insistently conformed despite regional turbulence and a massive refugee burden. It represents an achievement that is largely credited to our citizens, especially our youth, young people who have stubbornly held onto Jordan's heritage of unity, strength, and forward-looking spirit, in spite of the odds. And it is this very odds that make these elections a true triumph of progress over regression. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, there are forces at play in my region and beyond whose sole purpose is to stack the odds against the core values that bind our common humanity. I, of course, refer to the network of extremists, terrorists who have dominated headlines lately. And they seek global dominance as well. They want to wipe out our achievements and those of our ancestors, to erase human civilization and drag us back to the Dark Ages. The question we must ask ourselves as we face this, the battle of our generation, is what will our legacy be? Will we pass on to our children a world dominated by dread and division, where safety and security will be at the forefront of their minds as they board an airplane, attend a concert, or a football match, or stroll through a mall? Most important, are we doing what must be done to confront and decisively defeat this evil force so that our children can live in a world where fear and suspicion are replaced by human camaraderie and hope, where they can reach their fullest potential and add to the stockpile of human achievement accrued over the ages? As much as I wish it were otherwise, sadly, the answer to that question is no. How can we be effective in this fight when we haven't clearly defined who the enemy is? Who are we fighting with? and who are we fighting against? And I'm struck today, after several years of facing the global war on terror with a lack of understanding of the true nature of Islam, that I find among many Western officials, think tanks, media leaders, and policymakers. I find myself stating the obvious again and again. False perceptions of Islam and of Muslims will fuel the terrorist agenda of a global struggle by polarizing and factionalizing societies, East and West, each side stigmatizing the other, each driven deeper into mistrust and intolerance. Muslims, a quarter of the world's population, citizens of every country, have a central role in the future of our planet. Muslim men and women bring to the world a rich heritage of civic responsibility, justice, generosity, family life, and a faith in God. When others exclude Muslims from fulfilling their role by prejudice or ignorance of what Islam is, or on the other hand, when the outlaws of Islam, the Khawarij, attempt to mislead some Muslims by deforming our religion through false teachings, our society's future is put at risk. My friends, when the outlaws of Islam, the Khawarij, murder, when they plunder, when they exploit children, and reject the equality of women before God, they abuse Islam. When the Khawarij persecute minorities, when they deny freedom of religion, they abuse Islam. Islam teaches that all humanity is equal in dignity. There is no distinction among different nations or regions or races. The Quran forbids coercion in religion. Every citizen is guaranteed the state's protection for their lives, families, properties, honor, privacy, and freedom of religion and thought. Muslims believe in the divine origins of the Bible and the Torah. God says in the Quran, say, we believe in God and that which has been revealed to us and that which has been revealed to Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and the tribes, and in that which was given to Moses and Jesus and the prophets. From their Lord we make no division between any of them, and to him we submit. Indeed, in the Quran, the prophet mentioned most is Moses, named 136 times. Jesus, whom we call Christ Messiah, is named 25 times. His mother Mary, called best of all women in creation, is named 35 times, and there is a chapter in the Quran called Maryam. The Khawarij deliberately hide these truths about Islam in order to drive Muslims and non-Muslims apart. We cannot allow this to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, understanding that this is a battle we must fight together, all religions and all of us who believe in the dignity, freedom, and well-being that is the birthright of every individual, then we can turn towards our common enemy and examine through a clear lens the unique nature of our foe. And let me state clearly that these radical outlaw groups do not exist on the fringes of Islam. They are altogether outside of it. Thus we refer to them as Khawarij, outlaws of Islam. They declare the entire civilized world as the enemy, and all people, military or civilian, as fair game. They aim to incubate satellite caliphates in every country in the world in order to extend their reach. They also expand fast and wide through their mastery and exploitation of modern technology, as well as social media. To confront this non-traditional enemy, we need non-traditional means, a new mindset, new partnerships, and reformed methodologies. For Muslims, first and foremost, this is a fight for our future. All elements of our community have a role not only in mosques and religious centers, but media, schools, and community leaders. Let no one be misled. Traditional Sunni Islam and all of its schools of jurisprudence decisively reject the ideas and claims of takfiri jihadists. Muslims need to help identify and counter the outlaws of Islam who pick and choose, cut and paste religious texts to twist and distort true Islamic teaching. The international community also faces a fight for the future. The war will not be fought on the battlefield alone. Our adversary has put the fight in every place where humans live and interact, whether it's airports, cafes, city streets. Security cooperation is imperative, but equally important is a holistic approach. We need to open up new channels between continents and nations, within countries and among people. This means reforming the way we communicate, share information, and use our technologies. The very same modern communication tools used against us must be employed for us. And we can do this while respecting the important issue of privacy. Creative innovators in the private sector, especially in the technology sector, are vital to the future and must be brought on board. Ours is a global fight. The focus must not stop with the Middle East, but reach far beyond in West and East Africa, in Southeast Asia, and the Balkans. In Syria, a military approach will leave no winners, only losers on every side, and further civilian suffering. An end to the violence ultimately demands a political process, one shepherded by a unified global vision and led by all components of the Syrian people. In Iraq, international support remains critical as the government and people continue to uproot the Khawarij. However, key to achieving and sustaining any success is an inclusive approach, engaging all components of the country in the political process and in state institutions. My friends, as we pursue these goals, our international community must also take responsibility towards those whose lives have been crushed. Millions of refugees, victims, and impoverished. And we cannot decisively defeat the scourge of terror and violence without decisively rooting out the injustices that provide its fertile ground. From the prisons of Abu Ghraib to the streets of Kabul and schools in Aleppo, injustice and humiliation have left tremendous human suffering in their wake. No injustice has spread more bitter fruit than the denial of a Palestinian state. And I say peace is a conscious decision. Israel has to embrace peace or eventually be engulfed in a sea of hatred in a region of turmoil. Safeguarding Jerusalem is a key concern. The Holy City is a strategic linchpin not only for my region, but for the world. This is a priority for me personally and for all Muslims. and we utterly reject attacks on Muslim and Christian holy sites and any attempts to alter the historic Muslim, Christian, and Arab identity of the holy city. And as the custodian of Islamic holy sites in Jerusalem, I will continue my efforts to protect these places and stand up against all violations of their sanctity, including attempts for temporal and spatial division of Al-Aqsa Mosque, Al-Haram al-Sharif. My friends, perhaps the central and most vital battleground for this defining war of our generation is the mind. The despicable, damaging ideology of hate, murder, and self-destruction spread in crash courses online and elsewhere must be confronted with a counter-narrative of hope, tolerance, and peace. Together in this General Assembly and in our regions, countries, and communities across the world, we have the power to create that counter-narrative. Let us show we also have the will to act. Thank you.
وعلى هامش اجتماعات الجمعية العامة شارك جلالته في قمة القادة حول أزمة اللاجئين التي استضافها الرئيس الأمريكي باراك أوباما في نيويورك، حيث ألقى جلالته كلمة تناولت تحديات أزمة اللجوء السوري وتعامل الأردن معها.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank President Obama's leadership at a make it or break it moment for our international community. And Mr. President, as always, thank you for your warm words of guidance and reminding us on the moral authority that all of us can take to continue to raise the bar and making a difference for humanity. All of us can always do that little bit more. So I wanted, on behalf of many of us here, just to thank you for those very kind words of wisdom, and hopefully we won't let you down. Today's unprecedented global refugee crisis remains a humanitarian disaster that is proving to be an increasing threat to global security, development, and economic growth. This is a collective responsibility, and we need to rise the level of global engagement without delay. Creative ideas are needed, and I wanted to thank my co-host nations and all who are participating with us today. And I wish to make only 3 points. First, it is vital that we take basing all our actions on the reality of the situation and not simply on our wishes or expediency. My country brings to the summit Jordan's long and first-hand knowledge of this very complex issue. For many years, our country's security and stability and our citizens' generous compassion have led desperate refugees to our doors. In the past 5 years, the Syrian crisis has sent Jordan's burden skyrocketing. Some 2.5 million Syrians have crossed into Jordan since 2011. Today, we are hosting 1.5 million Syrians, 1 for every 5 of our own citizens. Across my country, Jordanians are suffering, and no one is justified in questioning our commitment and our sacrifices. The economic and social impact has shocked every sector, every community, and it has set back the strides of our economy and has created tremendous problems in our development, job growth, and debt reduction. We're spending 1/4 of our national budget on refugee-related costs. Such a situation is plainly unsustainable. And yet all countries agree that the Syrian refugee crisis will be with us all for years to come. And a sustainable solution is key. If regional refugee hosts are abandoned and left to fail, the need won't disappear. The crisis will simply spread further, prolonging the time it takes to end this ordeal. The cost in human suffering will be unspeakable. As a collective effort, we must now adequately respond to the true expected need, the true broad impact, and the true duration of the crisis. To this end, Jordan has put forward an effective, sustainable development-driven plan to support hosts and refugees alike. Our approach will build on international partnership, trade and investment to create opportunities and income that both Jordanians and Syrians need. My second basic point is we need to work as a team. The refugee crisis requires not just commitment, but follow-through. Any effective development-based longer-term solution will need to engage host countries, donors, the private sector as well. Shortfalls in funding, lack of participation will undermine shared goals. Together, we must translate pledges reached at the London conference and this summit into results on the ground, and where they are most needed, to strengthen capacity and resilience at the national and community level. The private sector also has a critical role. My country is working closely with the international community to implement new programs, and one important initiative is the relaxation of EU rules of origin, supporting a jobs-rich trade under easier conditions and simpler terms. And our priority is then to create jobs in local communities, especially those hardest hit by the refugee inflow. And in the past few months, we have issued more than 28,000 work permits to Syrian refugees. More than 160,000 Syrian young people are in our schools, and we hope by the end of this year to be able to add at least another 40,000. This will allow young Syrian people in schools to acquire the tools they will need as adults to rebuild post-conflict Syria. My final point is that a truly sustainable solution should begin by safeguarding Syrian women and children from being used by Daesh and other terrorist organizations which are manipulating human trafficking and taking advantage of the movement of displaced groups. And it is imperative that the international community steps up to help and provide support for Syrians inside of Syria and not wait till the refugee crisis further aggravates. So my friends, Jordan has done much and remains committed to doing the right thing, and I hope we all do the same. I look forward to the success of our summit. Thank you very much.
القمة عقدت تحت رعاية كل من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية والأردن والمكسيك وكندا والسويد وألمانيا وأثيوبيا في سبيل تحديد مجموعة من الإجراءات الهادفة إلى التعامل بفعالية أكثر مع أزمات اللجوء في العالم وتداعياتها، سواء على اللاجئين أو على الدول المستضيفة. نشاط سياسي مكثف شهده برنامج الزيارة الملكية إلى نيويورك، حيث عقد جلالته سلسلة من اللقاءات مع رؤساء الدول والوفود المشاركة في الاجتماعات تناولت العلاقات بين الأردن وبلدانهم، إضافة إلى مجمل التطورات الإقليمية والدولية. فقد التقى جلالته كلا من العاهل الإسباني الملك فيليب السادس والرئيس المصري عبد الفتاح السيسي والرئيس اليمني عبد ربه منصور هادي والمستشار النمساوي كريستيان كيرن ورئيسة كرواتيا كوليندا غرابار كيتوروفيتش ورئيس مقدونيا جورجي إيفانوف ورئيس الوزراء العراقي حيدر العبادي ورئيسة الوزراء البريطانية تيريزا ماي ورئيسة وزراء النرويج إرنا سولبيرغ ورئيس وزراء كوسوفو عيسى مصطفى ورئيس وزراء تايلاند برايت تشان أوتشا ووزير الخارجية الأمريكي جون كيري وأمين عام الأمم المتحدة بان كيمون. وشملت الزيارة الملكية لقاء جلالته مع رئيس البنك الدولي جيم يونغ كيم وبحث العلاقات التي تربط المملكة بالمؤسسة الدولية، خصوصا في ظل الاتفاقيات والبرامج التنموية والاقتصادية التي ينفذها الأردن بالتعاون مع البنك الدولي. كما التقى جلالته رئيس مجلس الأعمال للتفاهم الدولي بيتر تيشانسكي وعددا من أعضاء المجلس، حيث جرى بحث سبل تعزيز التعاون بين المملكة والمجلس، لا سيما في مجال تنشيط العلاقات بين الأردن والتجمعات الاقتصادية حول العالم وبما يعود بالفائدة المشتركة. زيارة ملكية حملت العديد من الملفات وصوت الأردن بقيادة جلالة الملك إلى الأمم المتحدة والمجتمع الدولي ومواقفه المتزنة الحكيمة حيال مختلف التطورات الإقليمية، وبما يحمل المصالح العليا للأردن لتؤشر إلى المكانة الكبيرة التي يحظى بها الأردن وقيادته في العالم. عماد الرقاد، التلفزيون الأردني.
أكد وزير الخارجية الروسي سيرجي لافروف أمام الأمم المتحدة على ضرورة الحفاظ على الاتفاق الأمريكي الروسي الذي يشكل محاولة جديدة لإنهاء الحرب في سوريا وسط استمرار المعارك. وقال لافروف أمام الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة أن لا بديل من عملية السلام بإشراف الروس والأمريكيين، مضيفا أنه من الضروري الآن منع الإخلال بهذا الاتفاق. وتابع أن الأزمة السورية لن تحل إلا إذا كبحت واشنطن وحلفاؤها الفصائل التي تقاتل إلى جانب عصابة داعش الإرهابية. أفادت مصادر أمنية عراقية عن تحرير جزيرة البغدادي بمحافظة الأنبار من سيطرة عصابة داعش الإرهابية. وبحسب مصدر أمني فإن قوات الجيش بالأنبار تمكنت من تحرير جزيرة البغدادي بالكامل من عصابات داعش الإرهابية وتكبيدهم خسائر بشرية كبيرة، مضيفا أن قوات المتطوعين في حديثة والبغدادي شاركت الجيش العراقي في عملية التحرير. وأشار إلى أن عمليات التحرير جزيرة البغدادي جاءت بمشاركة طيران التحالف الدولي والعراقي. اعتمد مجلس الأمن القرار 2310 والمعني بمعاهدة منع انتشار الأسلحة النووية والسعي إلى نزع السلاح النووي والاستخدام السلمي للطاقة النووية. ويعد القرار الذي طرحته الولايات المتحدة بمناسبة الذكرى السنوية العشرين لفتح باب التوقيع على معاهدة الحظر الشامل للتجارب النووية بمثابة التزام من كل دولة طرف بعدم القيام بأي تجربة نووية أو أي تفجير نووي آخر، وحظر ومنع أي انفجار من هذا القبيل في أي مكان يخضع لولايتها. ويؤكد القرار أن بدء تنفيذ المعاهدة سيساهم في تعزيز السلام والأمن الدوليين من خلال عمل المعاهدة بفعالية على منع انتشار الأسلحة النووية ومن خلال إسهامها في نزع السلاح النووي. وقبل الختام هذا تذكير بالعناوين. جلالة الملك يعود إلى أرض الوطن بعد زيارة عمل إلى نيويورك ضمن أعمال الدورة 71 للجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة. قرار دولي جديد بشأن منع انتشار الأسلحة النووية بغية تعزيز السلام والأمن الدوليين. دمتم بخير، إلى اللقاء.